Hello and welcome to another episode of The Red Stream. My name is Amelia and I will be your host today, together with my partner in crime, Alicia Kozera.
Hey guys!
And we have two
Hello.
amazing new guests, so please give a warm welcome to Filip Dovner,
Cyberpunk.
gameplay lead designer.
Hi.
And
Cyberpunk.
Rafał Obremski, sorry I have to read that title, gameplay designer and gameplay design coordinator.
Hello.
Very long title.
Yeah, whenever someone asks, I just say that I make games. That's my...
Make simple.
Just like all of us.
Exactly.
Okay guys, so a couple of weeks ago we met you for the first Red Stream about Update 2.0 and Phantom Liberty, and we told you some more about Dogtown, some of the characters coming with the expansion. We talked about car combat, new reworked perks and attributes, as well as the relic skill tree from Phantom Liberty, and we also went over the revamped police system. And today we have even more changes and new features to go through. So we activity from Phantom Liberty. Then we will go through combat AI enhancements. We will also go through cyberware changes, net running changes.
Polish people are
balance
fine,
and
Mike. What are you
economy changes,
talking about?
UI changes. So, there's a lot of changes to go through.
Sorry.
You will probably be able to download the update before we finish the stream. It will be available from 5 p.m. CEST today. And if you are wondering how much space you need, let me help you with that. So for PlayStation 5, you're gonna need 38 gigabytes of space. For Xbox, you're gonna need around 52 gigabytes of space. And for PC, around 33 gigabytes of space. So hopefully after the stream, you will be able to jump right into
God, he was like doing this
Update
weird popping
2.0
thing.
Cyberpunk 2077. But we will hold a Q&A session at the very end with questions that we gathered from our Discord and our forums asked by you. So the update 2.0 will be available after the stream. Let's jump in.
Yeah, so guys, gameplay overhaul, philosophy behind 2.0. Can you tell us more about that?
Sure. First and foremost, it's called 2.0 for a reason. I don't think we left any stone unturned in terms of gameplay. We did a great overhaul over almost all of our systems. So the philosophy behind it, the main thing we had in mind while working on it, we are CD Projekt Red, we are storytellers, and we are telling the stories not only in narrative part of the game, but also in gameplay. And in gameplay, it's up to the player to decide how the story looks exactly, what kind of character they are, what kind of play style they are using, and all of this we wanted to be actually
How's everybody's morning going?
Consciously by player, all of the decisions in regards to the character they are.
Yeah. It's already about the RPG element, role-playing of the whole thing. We wanted the builds and the cyberware to be more immersive, for the players to represent themselves more through those. The builds are more distinctive. Your choice when it comes to cyberware is also much bigger and richer. So it was really all about just giving this freedom of actually being able who I want to be in this world while having this glorious adventure.
Sounds good. Sounds good. I can't wait to see what our players think of the update. So let's just start with.
Your leg is bent backwards.
So
The fuck do you?
let's go to airdrops. What can we say about airdrops?
Child.
So the most important thing, they're super awesome. We love airdrops. And basically, airdrops are a new open world activity, and that happens only in the Dogtown area. You will not see this on a minimap, but it's quite hard to miss. You will hear the AV dropping the big package on the Dogtown area.
Flying over the district.
Exactly, and there are flares that will guide you where they are. Getting to airdrop itself, it's a little bit challenging. We wanted for it to be not only
You guys need a Hyundai?
in terms of the encounter that happens there, but also sometimes it is quite challenging to get to the location itself.
Or even how to approach it from which
Exactly.
The DLC
Yeah,
drops
it's
at
also, you can maybe
in an hour.
approach
DLC
or
drops in,
something
not the DLC. The update drops in an hour.
but,
DLC
as
drops
I
in 5
mentioned,
days.
The combat is also a little bit
Yeah, 5
challenging
days.
there, sometimes even quite challenging, I would say, because the loot there is also something that we wanted to be worth it. The airdrops, important thing to mention, they are
covering
an
them up.
endless loop of combat. and loot. So you can do them forever, but that does not necessarily mean that the combat is the same for every encounter. It very much differs. So you can try it out, play around, try different airdrops and see how they change. Because yeah, as I mentioned, they are awesome, right? So.
Yeah, we have like multiple spots. Those spots have like different versions of those encounters, and what's also really cool is this as you will be like, doing them, you'll be leveling up, and your possibilities, your abilities to approach them will also be different. So even when you come back to get the airdrop, how you tackle it can be different depending on how you're placed.
Let's get lit up. Let's get lit up.
Good.
Stop it.
And you mentioned that it will be challenging, so I assume there are like various guards of this airdrop of the loot, right? Can we maybe talk about the changes?
Oh, you can
to
shoot
the
grenades.
AI and
I think you always were able
concept
to. I never
of it?
really used grenades.
For 2.0, we focused in terms of AI itself. We didn't want to reinvent the wheel. We focused rather on building on top of what we already had. But that being said, we did quite a lot. We especially in stealth. So, for example, if you try to approach this airdrop in stealth, as we
Not gonna wait for Phantom Liberty drop? No,
you
update 2.0
probably
drops
noticed
today,
that
Spoodles.
Having a silenced pistol, the enemy could probably you could probably see a situation in which the enemy does not hear the gunshot.
As long as I don't see
because
story
the
content, I'm
silence
fine with seeing
but the fact that
gameplay.
they will see the
Like,
bullet will start,
gameplay changes in
They will
update.
start investigating. Hey, there's a bullet here. Like, probably, guys, we are in danger. Maybe let's start investigating where this bullet came from.
But they want you to
And
replay the
their,
game.
Search behaviors also changed. They will be a little bit more challenging in this manner. So
Like, all of the gameplay changes are coming
changes to
today.
stealth, we also wanted
Yeah,
for
all
AI
the
to
gameplay changes are coming
a little bit.
today.
They can extrapolate the.
It's
the
like a
bullet
complete
trajectory,
overhaul of the game and the
let you
perk
know
system
where
and
where
everything.
the bullet is coming from to like influence their search behavior and patterns. It's just more realistic and believable.
Exactly.
Smart.
Yes. In terms of AI, we also focused on changing some of the archetypes we already had in the game, but they are
Yeah,
now
it drops in an hour,
so
Spoodles.
different that we could probably call them distinctive and different or new. So we focused really a lot on changing the netrunner in terms of AI, and that's an awesome change because that was one I was personally waiting for after playing the game. And from now on, netrunner will.
I hope
not-
max tag is hard,
no
but they're
longer only try to
fair.
damage you. It's a huge change because from now on, we wanted enemy netrunners to be more in like the live inside of the cyberpunk world because netrunners in cyberpunk are those a little bit more smart personalities. So from 2.0 in AI, netrunner will try to, for example, upload a cyber malfunction on you, maybe weapon jam.
Restart optic.
Yes, blind hack, and in some critical situations, they will also try to upload system collapse on you, which is yeah. If you don't,
This one you don't want to have.
yes, let's just say that. If you see system collapse, you should probably
Look how
try
cool
to interrupt it because
spec weapons were. I don't use them very often because I like pistols.
The coolest thing about this is not even that they became smarter. That too. But first and foremost, the way it changes how you approach combat at the very moment, because as Rafa mentioned, we have numerous different quick hacks, which are very different, and they affect you differently depending on what type of playstyle you prefer.
That cyber psychosis, I don't think
and
we're
in what
seeing
kind
it
of situation you are.
yet.
If you're vulnerable, then restart optics is something different than when you're safe and hidden. So you have to be on your toes, think about your surroundings, and depending on the situation, make those small decisions like, should I go after the netrunner or continue what I was doing and like take it, straight on.
But
Exactly.
as a player, we can also defend against netrunners,
Absolutely.
right? We can have our own eyes that it won't allow them to hack us.
Yes. We even have like the cyberware that is negating those quick hacks from time to time on cooldown. If you feel like it's a problem, then there's the cyberware to help you with this.
Yes, exactly. Plus, some things stay the same. For example, netrunners will still try to use proxies as their bodies to hack you through them, so you don't always have to find the netrunner themselves,
yeah.
but maybe try to find a proxy.
Yeah.
Other archetype that we worked quite a lot in general is
You not have
elite,
Phantom Liberty yet, Spoodles?
archetype.
Oh, did they show
you'll
off
see
Dragon's
them,
Dogma?
on the battlefield a little bit more
Shit.
clearly because they have skulls, red skulls
Oh,
above
yeah.
their head. Yeah, that's
Very
something.
clear.
Yeah, exactly. Something we in general worked on quite a lot from 2.0 to make you really aware who you're fighting. So not only elites will have distinctive UI on them, other rare enemies, for example, will have a different health bar. Two chunks. Elites will have 3 chunks. You will be able to spot it quite easily. And elites themselves are really revamped and kind of tougher versions of the enemy. They change quite a lot in terms of who should you target, how your playstyle actually is affected by them being on the battlefield. Because probably you could try to play into more of a person that focuses on crowd control and damaging a lot of different enemies at one time. But the fact that elites are a thing that there's a singular enemy that is a little bit tougher makes you rethink your playstyle. Maybe I want to have something that will allow me to focus on a singular target as well. Or not, it depends on you.
Yeah, like whether crowd control is your thing and you want to control the elite or...
2.0 comes out in an hour.
Down, that's also a possibility. It really depends on how you play. Another thing regarding the AI itself is that it's much more, I would say, adaptable to how you play. It's gonna react differently if you're like going straight in and you're super hyper aggressive. They will react if you take the slower approach when you hide, when you are more like cover shooter gameplay.
An hour to beat separate ways.
Also behave differently
Before you're lost to the punk.
It's also like a big change to how you play and how you have to think about the encounters.
Exactly, and building even on top of what you said, you could probably hide behind some cover. They will notice that and try to maybe lure you out from it with grenades and stuff.
Yeah. They really got good at this.
Yeah, and now actually this is something that we also worked quite a lot. The rule of thumb we took in regards of this is the higher difficulty you're playing on, the more player-like enemies will feel. So for example, on hard and very hard difficulty, they will have a little bit more verbs.
Why would you want Rebecca back? All
They
about
will throw more grenades. They will even
about
heal
like
themselves,
literally any other
more
character.
often. As I mentioned, the netrunner will also adapt to your difficulty level. The higher it is, the quicker the hacks he applies will be, and stuff like this. We really focused on this.
All about Dorio.
building
I
this
had to
world
think
that
about her name. It's all about
adapts,
Dorio. I miss her so
You're
much.
progressing your player. You have new abilities and new verbs to you. We wanted the difficulty to be kind of something for AI to maybe simulate something similar.
It's generally how we approach the game difficulties in general. We try to make it more about engagement and like how much stuff happens that player has to take into consideration and how important the effect of each of those action verbs is at current moment. Sure, there are like sub changes as well.
Capcom,
as they
like
have
what
to
I
be,
looked at
but,
for Dragon's Dogma, it
but
looks
not
like
about
it's
this.
stuff they've already
It's
showed off in their
rather
previous
background,
gameplay trailer.
And on the forefront,
The little bit
it's about the
I skimmed
composition of
through.
the NPCs and like their abilities and how active they are with using the abilities they have, because they have those abilities. Almost all of them they have across all the game difficulties.
Did they?
It's just they are much more proactive.
I'm not a huge Dragon's Dogma fan. That's a little.
Okay, so essentially,
I played Dragon's Dogma.
AI will
Keep
adjust
them
your
at bay and
behavior
appease
to,
them,
to
appease
see
the
what we're
gremlin that
doing.
is them.
But what about, like, I would like us to go more into the stealth
Interactive.
gameplay that
Here's
we
the
are
thing.
introducing into.
I'm a
2.0.
Cyberpunk fan first and
As
foremost.
you mentioned, AI itself
This takes
will
priority.
behave differently in regards to your stealth approach, but the stealth approach from the player's perspective.
So there's some
changed
Tommy Hilfiger by
vastly.
SZA.
We added a lot of new verbs for the player. For example, the ninjutsu perk that will allow you to sprint while crouching, which probably would look
A little bit funny.
in third person. So luckily we are in first person perspective. But this allows for a lot of opportunities in
I
stealth
hate
in
Twitch.
general.
I hate Twitch with all my heart.
Decision-making thing, because it costs stamina.
I was about to ask, do they
you
drink?
cannot,
Do they drink these
stealth
drinks
in
that they have
crouch
set up?
freely.
And the answer is,
Sorry, not
yeah,
stealth,
that didn't go
sprint in
down.
crouch freely. So you have to think like when to do it, what your stamina is going to be, what will be like your how you'll act later on with the stamina that you have. So there are a lot of those.
Tommy
like,
Hill
little,
figures this as a
decisions
jump
that you
scare.
have to make,
Hey, doing Big Bad.
and it's much more fun.
Yeah. Another thing is the stealth netrunning loop we added. In general,
yeah.
we worked a lot on netrunner in the game from 2.0, but from now on, you will also have this new gameplay in regards to your stealth approach. There's a new system trace.
She has not touched her
functionality that we
drink
added. Basically,
one
it's like
bit.
maybe role playing a little bit, fighting netrunner with netrunner, that someone tries to stop you.
Some kind of system.
Or some kind of system that will track that hey, there's a netrunner trying to kill our guys. Maybe I'll try to trace him. Obviously, it's also in encounters that do not have netrunner in them. It's just our fantasy about it. But there's this thing that you will have to progress towards.
Drink
not
your
being
red.
spotted while hacking people.
Yeah. And think about, because
Is
not
he?
all quick hacks are traceable. And quick hacks are also traceable in like different on different level. Some are like extremely aggressive and like easy to spot, which makes the system netrunner to spot the player easier. And what do we mean by spot? Basically, your position will be revealed to all the encounter, and they'll know where you are, and they'll try to get you. So a player right now has to think like, okay, what do I value more? Do I want to make this aggressive push, get out, take one or two enemies with me because it's a good opportunity? I cannot go around them using regular stealth, or whether it's better to stay low and
Shit, there's
use
new
my,
drivers I gotta
potential to the
install
fullest,
too.
while being hidden. And
I'm gonna have
only
to
then
end the
release
stream because
the
downloading
full
drivers
potential
while
of the
streaming
player.
fucks things
Yeah.
up.
Another thing in stealth we changed is in general in Phantom Liberty, being this espionage, we wanted to add a lot more to the gunplay in terms of stealth. So there are a lot more silenced weapons play styles, and there are some combinations that weren't possible before. For example, from now on you'll be able to have a tech silenced weapon or smart silenced weapon.
Absolutely crazy.
Yes, yes.
It sounds crazy.
Yeah. So you can totally go for fully stealth gameplay.
Yeah, I'll have to end the stream for a little bit, and then we'll come back.
We work quite a lot.
After I update my
Sticking to
drivers.
stealth,
Updating drivers and doing
we
literally
also
anything
added,
else while updating said
super
drivers is a
optical
big
camo
no-no.
abilities in Relic Tree. So this one is obviously
Computer
Phantom
freaks the
Liberty
fuck
exclusive,
out. It's
but,
like,
there's a perk that will slow down time when you approach, like when you start being spotted using optical camo.
Yeah. Or even get you out of combat
yeah.
once it already started, which is cool. And we also have like a very cool side.
Probably not.
Do crazy stuff, but
Like they also recommended you reinstall
but,
Yes.
Baldur's Gate
look
3,
for
and
it,
I didn't
yeah.
do that. I just went with the update.
Look for it because it's really
Yeah.
amazing.
Okay, so we're super excited to check out the new stealth loop, especially with the spy thriller vibes of expansion. It's gonna fit in right there. But while we were on the topic of AI,
But worst case scenario, I do a fresh install. I probably will do a fresh install. Update in stream, update drivers, update everything, fresh install, hop back on, turn the stream back on in like an hour.
The entire map, or is it only inside Dogtown?
Obviously, every change to AI.
What mods are there?
We made for the whole Night City. Every AI-controlled enemy will be revamped.
It's absolutely systemic.
Absolutely systemic. But that being said, obviously for Phantom Liberty, there are some custom encounters, for example, with bosses, and they are, as I call them, a little bit more custom. So for those to experience, you will have to have Phantom Liberty installed. But trust me, they're also super awesome. So I really encourage you to try them out because we also focused on bosses.
But those are, it's not like we have like some kind of Phantom Liberty specific systems for it. It's just the encounters that we have there use whatever we have slightly differently.
Okay.
Yeah. Plus there's Bargus, obviously, as
very militaristic faction.
Yeah, as faction that is only in Dogtown, although stuff like Maxstack will happen everywhere in the map. So.
Okay. And the NPCs will be smarter throughout the entire Night City in general.
Yes.
Awesome.
I mean, it is
Another question that we have
UE4
from our
now, so
communities, are there going to be
yeah,
crazy
modding's gonna be
drivers
kind of
who
real easy.
don't work along normal driving AI?
Yeah. we'll have not only like it's really hard to define like what do you call crazy driver, because for instance in Night City
I'll show you my cam from my car. I'll show you exactly who are crazy drivers.
if you think like in
yeah,
Night
there's
City, in this world, which is like extremely visceral, brutal,
if it's game shit, it's in game
where,
shit.
those gunfights can happen on every street corner. People are like scared, you know. They will try to drive away. They will try to avoid whatever obstacle is there.
There's also, if it's game shit, there's game shit. If it is
as they drive,
what's it called?
and it's gonna also happen like systemically. On its
Art
own.
and photography.
And the cool thing about it is that often while they're like panicking and trying to get away from the bullets, they may cause traffic accidents themselves and increase on the havoc. They can even drive over the policeman, for instance, and be chased themselves. You will see gang members fighting themselves or running away from the police. And while doing this, they don't care. They basically, you know, they drive over civilians, they crash into other cars. Player can watch and just have fun observing what's happening, or take sides and help either the sides.
Yeah, exactly. And just one mention here that those car chases situations are fully systemic, fully AI-driven. Nothing is scripted, and they also would happen quite a lot if you would focus and maybe just observe or take part in them. But there are some cool moments with this as well. Like, for example, I believe I watched your playthrough recently that there was a situation in which you caused a gang member to be chased by police, like on purpose, kind of, or I'm not sure.
I was trying to get away from the police, and it was in Dogtown, which is quite crowded, and I was trying to find a spot to lose the police. And it so happened that the only corner I could find was like
wrong, babe. You barely
like,
touched
very
your
small,
red.
like gang. Nothing major. They were just, you know, hanging out, doing their daily stuff. And I was hiding them, and basically they didn't have any beef with me, so they basically didn't care that I was around. But it turned out that when the police came to basically investigate the last place they saw me, it turned out that they didn't really like each other. They started fighting, and I basically would just walk away and, you know, enjoy the fight because they didn't care anymore, because they were basically fighting for their lives. And that's how I got away.
Just fetched popcorn. And
yeah, pretty much. It was very fun.
Oh, that's also
That's sick. That's coming to Game Pass day one. That's really rad.
Crazy drivers.
When's it coming out though?
There's also a system overhaul of the car system in general, car combat, but also cars in general, driving and stuff like this. So
yes.
So if you shoot out a tire of someone, they will also try to like maybe panic a little bit, try to steer it. Similar to probably.
Also, if you like use quick hacks on them, they also don't know how to react. They often like crash into things because of this. It looks super natural, and it creates those amazing, you know, emergent gameplay moments that you can enjoy. Yep.
Nice. Okay, so it's gonna be super interesting seeing our players wreak havoc in
yes,
Night City.
Waiting for those videos.
Yeah.
Really waiting for it.
Cool, guys. So thank you so much. Before we go into the next segment, let's sum up very quickly. So we're gonna have new activities in the open world, the airdrops in Phantom Liberty. We revamped the combat AI a lot, so we're gonna have weaker enemies, we're gonna have stronger elites. There's also been some changes to both Netrunner playstyles for NPCs, but also for the stealth loop for the player. And we are gonna see some crazy drivers in Night City.
Oh, absolutely. All right, so during the last stream, we touched upon some of the builds. We actually showed to our players the solo build with Gabe, but I would like us to talk about the net running. We already touched upon the net running a bit earlier, but what can actually our players expect in terms of net running?
So first and foremost, the biggest change in net running, and we really focused on this one, is the fact that the intelligence perk tree is from now on fully self-synergized, and you are really able to dive deeply into the playstyle of a Netrunner and really play with this fantasy. And the main thing that changed there is the fact that we moved smart weapons to the intelligence perk tree plus. some other perks that will allow you to actively regain your RAM. So from now on, you don't.
Where'd
really
you
have
see
to
that it
wait
says
for
do a
to
fresh
regenerate.
install
You can
spoodles?
actually, upload some quick hacks on enemies, switch to your smart rifle, regain those.
That Like a Dragon trailer is incredibly depressing. That being said, I want to play 8. I want to play 7 and 8, but I don't want to play like
again, and, it is
2
more
through
of a-
5,
you
2
have
through
more choice
6.
to actively regain it.
I just kind of want to play the turn-based ones.
There's definitely still passive regeneration.
But I played 0 and I played
it's
1,
much
and
more about,
I was
the
playing
flow,
Judgment.
The rhythm of how you
In
quick
discussion.
hack and how you regain it. You have more.
Let me take a look.
There's more impact on it. You can influence drastically how much RAM is regenerating. However, there are still plenty of.
You guys want a
options to,
Honda?
Like, do it passively, and there's always the cyberware who basically at all times is trying to be there. If you think that something is missing from your build, cyberware will probably handle it and help you out. And this is it's a very nice pleasant change because it's nothing obligatory. If you enjoy this active gameplay where you can regain this stuff, you can definitely do it. It's very rewarding. But if you prefer for this to work behind the scenes for you, absolutely an option, and you can even combine it.
Yes. Plus, in general, we added some really cool perks and stuff for Netrunner. For example, there's this overclock perk that basically allows you. How it works is once you if you have this perk, once you run out of RAM, you are able to use your health pool to be able to use it as a resource to throw hacks. So it, as you may expect, drastically changes how you play. You use your health pool, so maybe you want to think of cyberware to give you this armor to be able to maybe survive as well. It's also important.
It's a super cool perk because it allows the player to basically think about his character not only in moment to moment, which is also important. Is it worth it even to cast this quick hack right here, right now, or am I putting myself into a too vulnerable position? But
I'm
also
not
on
seeing
this,
it anywhere.
A macro level. That okay, I love this perk. I love to using it as much as possible. So now I want to have cyberware that basically protects me when it happens, and there will be plenty of different types of cyberware and ways for you to
Wait, never mind.
Build your character from the cyberware perspective around this one particular perk. But there are tons of other examples like this.
Exactly. From Intelligence Tree in general, we also added some really cool stuff. For example, the
It's not
copy-paste,
official CDPR instructions.
ability, which is something super exciting. It's maybe a little bit OP in some situations because how it works is the
Perfectly
Netrunner.
balanced.
Yeah. How it works is if the enemy Netrunner is trying to upload some hack on you, you can upload some hack on him, and the hack you chose will spread among the whole group of enemies. And I will just throw it out there. There is a suicide hack, so there are some situations in which it could be a little bit OP, but we are fine with it, I guess.
Oh, you know what to do, guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
Go try it out.
So we already mentioned some of the quick hacks, but what else can we do with them? Can we do?
Hold on, this music.
Q or combos?
Yes. In general, from Netrunner, we also work on the Q functionality. The way it works, maybe we'll quickly catch up with how it works. Basically, you need to be a Netrunner, you need a cyber deck. Plus, you need a perk, a specific perk from Intelligence perk tree unlock to be able to throw Q hacks on.
Quick hack.
And in the base version of this perk, you are able to queue 2 hacks on one enemy that will happen consequently on one enemy. You are able to modify it to allow you to throw up to 4 with perk progression as well. The way it works is, obviously, as you might expect, they will happen once you queue 2 hacks on one enemy. They will happen.
Would they drop?
After one consecutively?
Oh,
but
yeah, that
also,
Like a Dragon trailer is really
the
sad.
upload time of them will
Catching up.
be reduced to.
I'm so upset that they canceled the multiplayer.
In which you upload one, wait, and then upload it.
I don't want a
This
Pepsi.
is the first gain from it.
And it's super cool because
I haven't made it yet. I haven't made my build yet.
You may have your favorite quick hacks. You already have it all figured out. But now suddenly the addition of the Q makes.
I looked at the perks and I read them. I was like, that's
Maybe
neat.
something that you were not using before. Now because
It's
being
gonna be
able to be
pistols.
uploaded so much quicker.
It's
a
gonna be
completely different
pistols,
story. So you think
spoodles,
about what type of
pistols and
cyber deck do I
blades.
bring to a fight,
Pistols and
what type of
blades.
program do I bring to a fight? and it allows you to like experiment more and more with it. You know,
That's rad. That's rad, Texas.
Is one thing. 3 is like a different thing, and then 4 is even different. It also reduces the amount of RAM it takes. So really, it's gonna take a lot of like skill to fully, you know, the skill cap basically is super high for it, and but the reward is also amazing. Like once you get the feel for it, you're basically a god. But not because the damage is just high or the effects are so high, but because you did it. You know, you were the one that were combining those skills in proper order, using those quick hacks at the right time, and using the proper cyberware and perks to you know, accommodate for all of this.
With reduced RAM, there is it doesn't come from the base quick like hack Q perk, but there is a special cyber deck that will also reduce the RAM and also allow you to combine those quick hacks in a queue in many more ways. Basically, as we mentioned, you know, queuing quick hacks on one enemy, as Philip said, allows you also to maybe mix them up in more variant ways. There are combat and non-combat combinations that will allow you to have boosts to the stats that they gain to the enemy, reduce the upload time even more. And with this specific cyber deck, I mean, there's the combinations that you will be able to maybe sandwich combat hack in between two non-combat hacks, stuff like this. It will gain you much more bonuses and generally allow you to really find your Netrunner playstyle way more.
Yeah, it's you can be much more precise with how you wanna, what kind of Netrunner you wanna be.
All right, so we know what we can do to our enemies, but what can we do to cars?
Okay, so cars since 2.0 can be quick hacked as well. There are multiple. I don't know how many. I think 4 or 5 quick hacks are available. They become available to the player with the rarity of the cyber deck they use.
Oh, that's a good movie.
They're awesome. Like
in this new update, I can fuck Car Fuckers 2077. Oh, whoa!
Gameplay that's happening in the city, and like what kind of fun you can have, you know, outside of encounters, just, you know, driving the city and just having fun, you know, stopping police, exploding cars using remote control, just forcing them to speed up, and then, you know, you can force them to speed up while you take the off ramp from the highway, for instance. And there are like plenty of those like little things that you can do that basically
it was announced a while ago.
Powerful on its own, but they create those unique, unpredictable situations that are fun. You know, a lot of explosions.
Yes, a lot of
Oh,
explosions,
no!
a lot of like I love the remote driving. It's like coming back to my memories from childhood. But to be able to do it, basically, what you need is obviously.
First of the month. No, Natalie was in the bag when they said that.
Certain perk
Natalie was in the bag when they
quick hack cars.
It's very early on, so
yes.
It's nothing like you can get it almost right away.
Yeah.
Awesome. I mean, I can't wait to play a Netrunner myself. Maybe I'll finally give it a proper go.
Yeah, I think
drink your red.
All right, so thank you guys very much for clarifying what we can expect in terms of net running as a player. So now, before we go to another segment, let's sum up quickly what we just talked about. So, you know, we have the new queuing quick hack system. We can do amazing combinations with them. We have overclock skill to, you know, even boost this gameplay. And you can hack vehicles and you can do whatever you want with them. Like you heard the guys, so, you know, just give it a go.
Yes,
absolutely.
Crazy combos. All right, so next up we have one of the biggest changes, I think, coming with update 2.0, which is cyberware. I know we've changed a lot when it comes to cyberware. So maybe let's start with, why did you even decided to change how cyberware works?
Sure. There were a couple of reasons. I think the first one was that we are thinking about cyberware as part of your build. You know, in a game like Cyberpunk, Night City, your skills and your character is just as important as the gear that you're having. It's a brutal world where this is just the brutal truth, and we wanted the cyberware to feel like this. It's basically something that is taking care of you behind the scenes. We were thinking about when we were designing the cyberware. We knew from the very get-go that we wanted the cyberware to support whatever playstyle you want to pick from the perks. Either pick the cyberware that basically brings this particular playstyle over the top, allowing to do crazy things, or if you feel that your particular build is missing something, cyberware is probably there to handle this problem for you. On top of it, there was this very important reason of argument for style over substance. It was absolutely crucial for us that we wanted
100% right.
to not have to make this kind of difficult choice. Do I want to look like this, or do I want to have the best stats? Yeah. No, currently stats are in the cyberware, clothes are for your looks and to represent your character, to feel however you want to feel. Sure, there are a couple of stats here and there for clothes, but they are not for the RPG sake, like power level of your character. They're more even to like even more enhance this immersion and underlying the fact that they're just clothes. So you will see things that, for instance, Kevlar vest still have some kind of armor on it.
Let's go.
If you go and compare the Kevlar vest to like any basic cyberware you have, you know that basically you don't need Kevlar vest to be a tough guy in this world.
Yes, plus, we wanted the system to reflect on what is the world of Cyberpunk in general. Look at even the anime that is there already for quite some time, or even our characters in the game itself. Look at Kurt Hansen.
Imagine if this is the game we got at launch. Imagine if we just waited and this was the game we got at launch. That would have been so nice.
He's sitting inside of his apartment, trying like scared for his life. But no, he's out there. He doesn't wear a Kevlar vest.
Tank top rather.
Yeah, he wears a tank top. And in this world, why is that? Yes, because at this high leaks, people gain those stats from Chrome. And we wanted this fantasy to also be in the game, because as Philip said to you, we really saw your fashion crimes, guys. You no longer have to find every piece of the clothing that will give you some of the stats. But that being said, as Phil
this feels like the game they wanted to release. They seem very proud of everything, and it makes me very happy with how like
little edge, or for example, there is a
happy they are. You know what I mean?
Headpiece that will give you some of the quick hack time upload speed reduction. But those are minor stuff. But if you want to min max, you can still do it. And we have transmog in the game still, so you are able to have those stats on you, but look.
Still look good.
Yes.
Absolutely. And have different like sets of how you look. That's also very cool.
Yeah. Okay, so we have a lot of changes to cyberware. If I am a player coming back to the game with my existing save in update 2.0, what does it mean to me? Will the game tell me how it works? Explain it?
Yeah. So basically, one thing that you can expect is as you go back to the game with your save, you will get a quest. You'll be called by Victor to visit his shop, and there will be a tutorial explaining all the new mechanics. We have a completely new cyberware panel where you'll be able to see the cyberware capacity. We'll probably be talking about this later. Armor and like explaining like where's what and how it works.
Awesome. So there's gonna be like a short quest to explain that. But yes, speaking of capacity, because that's very tightly connected to our cyberware. It depends on, you have the limit of capacity, and on it depends how much cyberware you can wear. But what would happen if I have too much cyberware? Can I go over this capacity, and also can I increase it somehow?
So first and foremost, you cannot strictly, we don't allow you to exceed this limit. You will not be able to, unless there is one situation in which you can unlock a Edge Runner perk that will allow you to exceed this capacity.
The fuck is wrong with our base? Whoa!
By the cost of the max of your character. And with this perk, it's actually another example of our role playing and playing with the fantasy of the world, because you just exceeded your cyberware. Now you have you are over the limit, and with this perk, there's this fury state that you can enter during combat and in general in the game, that will give you some of the damage and crit chance boost. But it's something that we wanted to also play with the fact that you decided to change something to your character, and there is this state that you still control your character fully. It's not cyberpsychosis, but it's maybe something that you can think of in similar ways.
You can act like a cyber psycho.
Exactly, role play.
Yeah, I mean, if you saw Edge Runners, this is basically the David Martinez perk.
Yes,
yeah.
Even the icon.
Yes.
The downside for it is that your health is reduced.
Wish I had a psychosis.
At all times.
I'm maxing it out currently.
This adds to this weight that there's a reason why there's a limit, because there's just so much your body can handle, and you cannot go over this limit. And this adds like more gravity and weight to every single choice that you make, because there's just so much to choose from, and it's up to you what do you think you need the most, or what do you enjoy the most, to pick those to complement your build.
All right. So there are, I know, some items and some perks that also affect both our capacity for cyberware, but also some cyberware slots.
Yes. So we have like new items that we've added. It's actually one of my favorite items right now, because whenever it drops, I'm like, I have like this huge grin on my face, because it can basically speed up my the time where I can get my new cyberware for like by one level or something like this. So there are items that drop that we call them cyberware
Johnny tattoos,
I think,
yes.
and they.
I forgot that the Johnny tattoo was a thing.
You can just basically get more cyberware, and we even have a cyberware dedicated just to increase your cyberware capacity.
That's so meta.
Which seems like crazy, but this cyberware is extremely powerful, and I can't wait for people to like try it out.
Exactly. There's this awesome perk. It's called, I believe, Cyber Connoisseur. Yeah, that even adds, if you unlock it, it even allows you to have a choice between two stats while upgrading cyberware and stuff like this. It's all super good.
So you already told us about.
It's also the only one I
that
used.
Allows you to exceed the capacity. I mean, make it more. Anything else that you could spoil for our players? That's some new cyberware that is coming.
Like one of my favorites is that we added the cyberware for hands. It's not a smart link. It's not. It's a general cyberware that basically reduces the stamina cost while shooting. And with this cyberware, it's quite costly. But with this cyberware, you can reach basically like laser accuracy with most weapons. It's really amazing.
Wow.
Other than that, I don't know, a couple of other examples. We modify like biomonitor so that now it takes care of you. It's basically whenever you can heal and there's a need for you to heal, you are being damaged. It automatically uses your consumables, injector or inhaler, and it's super nice because you don't have to worry like about your health this much. Like no.
Oh shit! Happy birthday, RJ!
Health, but you don't have to worry about healing. You have the certainty that it will do this job for you. So
Clapping.
if you're like in the midst
Clapping.
of battle and you want
Happy birthday
on shooting down
to
the
you.
enemies.
Happy birthday
and
to you.
The health, you don't have to
Happy
be
birthday,
distracted by the health
RJ.
because the cyberware
Happy
will
birthday
be protected.
to you.
And also cool because you don't have to. It's gonna work under the hood, meaning that
My
you don't,
gift for my birthday
have
is that
to,
I get
like
Castlevania
cancel the
Nocturne.
shooting to have the animation of healing yourself because it happens at the same time.
Nice. Okay, on the topic of cyberware, our community was actually wondering whether we would have different types of the same cyberware. So, for example, different types of mantis blades.
So yeah, this is still a thing. Different types of.
Did you really get the
mantis
flu
blades
on your birthday,
which
Spoodle?
deal different types of damage, for example, electrical, chemical, and stuff like this. But from 2.0, we added way more to it. For example, there's different cyber decks that allow you rather not for specific effects, but rather allow you to attune it to a specific play style you want to have. So there's cyber deck that will play very well with stealth net running, and there's a cyber deck that will allow you to
That's fucking
have
embarrassing.
more of the monowire combat enhanced for
aggressive Sandevi stance, defensive Sandevi stance, which it's really like a theme with many things where a particular cyberware or group of cyberware, they do a similar thing when it comes to like their functionality, but they do it so differently that it's really up to you which one do you prefer most. And it's even really cool to basically switch them up from time to time while still building your character, growing from your perks and everything. But just mix this thing up as you go, because maybe you feel more comfortable with your build, maybe you learned or mastered the, let's say, I don't know, dash or any other like wrecking ball, and maybe you can swap something for something else.
Exactly, we wanted you to, even if you already make a decision that I want to have this play style, okay, this decision is made, but I still have some options to choose from. It's still...
All right, so we're going to have a lot of cyberware to choose from. How about players that don't want to get implants? Is it even a viable playstyle?
So basically the rule of thumb here is we do not penalize player from having cyber at any point in the game. There is no effect that you would have because you have cyberware. Plus, I would rather say that we encourage you to have the cyberware because maybe armor itself isn't the main reason here, because you probably can play without armor for at least for lower difficulties, and for
I think up to hard.
She drank the red.
It was one of,
she drank the red. No, that's down. That's down. She's consumed. She's consumed the red. I was looking down. I wasn't looking.
Like previously,
I have not
always had this armor with them because they were just picking it up from the clothes as they were playing the game. So at all times you had some kind of armor. Right now we fully support no armor playstyle up to, I think, hard difficulty. On very hard it will be really challenging, I think.
Exactly.
But this is like connected to this question about the humanity. This is a very powerful decision in this world. You know, not installing the Chrome. This is like the reverse of everybody is doing, which makes this choice even so much more like meaningful. So I think it's totally possible.
It sounds amazing. It sounds like they want. It's what they wanted to release. Rehydrate, replenish.
You need to know that the game will be significantly.
Men's, boys, 80s, 90s, vintage.
Of the purest human, it's already a little bit impossible because you have some of the cyberware by default in Cyberpunk anyway.
Right, so we have another question from the community. So we've heard about the new relic perks adding new features to the Mantis Blade, the monowire, and the PLS. But what does it do for Gorilla Arms abusers like me?
Gorilla Arms abusers. I love this phrasing.
My kind of person.
Cyberlean.
So yeah, there's a lot for Gorilla Arms abusers. In Relic Perks tree, there's this really awesome perk that allows you to charge up your Gorilla Arms while fighting with them. And once charged up, you are able to perform this really powerful one-punch attack that basically deals massive damage to the enemy you're punching, plus
shockwave.
Has this shockwave that staggers nearby enemies and maybe knock them out with progression of this perk later on. And if you happen to kill the enemy with it,
she consumed red.
You basically turn this person into a new.
Makes me so happy.
You know, you send him to the moon, he never comes back. But there's a lot more to it in Relic Perk tree.
Actually, the whole relic tree is all about cyberware.
Yeah.
From every single section, it's a really cyberware-oriented skill tree because it's related to the story and Songbird, and she's doing the stuff through the relic to basically enhance your cyberware. It's very powerful. It's very distinctive. You can go either on the offensive side with it, or on the defensive side with the self
optical camo perk. But my favorite one in Relic Perk tree is about vulnerability analytics. It also plays this narration of connecting with cyberware, because technically you need Kiroshi to have it, but you have Kiroshi in the game anyway. But the way it works, it's basically the system analyzes the enemy for you and looks for some weak spots in the enemy, maybe broken cyber.
Well, I'm about to take a long drink from that glass.
UI on the HUD overlay of the game, which is basically those red squares that you will be able to shoot. And it does not only deal massive damage to the enemy, but it also explodes while you hit it.
I like how they explode.
And it's an EMP damage, which can also be relevant against certain types of enemies.
Yes.
It's really cool. This one really took me by surprise because I didn't really appreciate until I actually played it how sweetly it changes the way you play the game.
Yes.
You have like this flow of like doing the headshots, trying to shoot them, and now the moment the vulnerability appears, you have to make this little decision. Okay, should I switch it up, change my aim for the bigger payoff, depending on where the enemy is, how far he is, how damaged he is, and it constantly keeps you engaged and like it's just very fun.
Yeah, it adds to even the choice of weapons, stuff like this. But it's awesome.
It works with melee weapons as well. So
Exactly, yeah.
I want to know what they're drinking. What's the green?
With melee,
What's the green?
Yeah.
So it could work in basically almost any build.
Yeah.
Yes. Let's just repeat that the relic perk tree is Phantom Liberty exclusive. So today you will not be able to play it, but soon.
In a few days.
In a way, yeah.
All right, so now we can sum up. And yeah, so guys, you have new cyberware coming. Some of the changes to cyberware, which, for example, one of them is the capacity. So make sure, to check your limits, check your skills, check your perks. If you can go further than that, if you want, go for the Edge Runner perk and see what it does. And another bigger changes, the armor is now coming. Not through cyberware, through cyberware, sorry, not through the actual clothing.
Okay, so cyberware was a very big and very impactful topic, very visible in the game. But now let's talk about something less visible, but I think as important as that.
Yeah, as you might runner, IDK, I've never seen the show.
Economy changes. So
should.
Balance, we already talked a little bit about.
I think everybody should watch Edge Runners. It's so good.
Let's focus on economy. So I know that now we're gonna get a little bit less loot. There are some price changes. So can you talk a little bit more about the intent behind it?
Sure. I think that the first thing that players will notice is that there's generally less loot on the level. Dropping from the enemies, and it was important for us so that player can like really focus, on the story and like not break this gameplay into two phases where you clear the encounter and then go around the encounter and you feel like the scavenger who's picking this stuff from all over the place.
Yeah, every time.
So the loot is more meaningful this time around, and clothes are no longer dropping from enemies. We didn't like this from the fantasy point of view. You're supposed to be merc. You choose your loadouts, your gear, how you look in this world. It shouldn't be some random chance. Plus, it just didn't feel right, to be picking up
basing your wardrobe from dead bodies.
Yeah, did he not like it?
Massacred with mantis blades or grenades.
I saw something on Twitter about him saying something about it. I didn't read it fully. Did he not like it?
It's a very nice change, in my opinion. What else? Oh, and coming back to the fact of being mercenary. You will notice that you get much more money from the rewards for doing the quests and the gigs and whatever the fixers are setting you up with. In this world, it really wouldn't make sense to risk lives in this extremely brutal environment if you weren't paid properly to afford the cyberware and weapons and other toys like cars.
That's a little quirky.
Yes, exactly. Plus you can
That's a little
make it
quirky.
really, tied to your specific character you want to be. Plus vendors, one thing to mention here, they will also change up what they have in stock. So it's worth revisiting them from time to time. Different small thing we also worked on is how thematic the vendors are. Maybe vendor in City Center would sell silver, substance, golden weapons, and black market vendor would sell you illegal weapons, stuff like this. So that also plays along with this fantasy of deciding what is your gear, what is your clothing, who you are.
Wow, that's nice. So less loot, but I will be earning more eddies from gigs. That's pretty nice. So speaking of that, our community actually had a question about it. Like, how big will the new item loot pool be regarding weapons, cyberware, and mods?
Yeah, I think we shouldn't talk about numbers here probably. Obviously,
Give us a week.
Yeah,
Maybe
we have
can
to count
it.
them. Yeah, we have to count them. But I would say that well, let's answer this in a way that we obviously added a lot of items to the game, especially to Phantom Liberty expansion. But listen, we literally took every item in the game.
I haven't played a Trauma Team game. I know Neo really liked it.
As I mentioned, there's no stone unturned, so we probably should, from gameplay perspective, answer that every item in the game is a new one. So. Countless.
There isn't a single cyberware which is the same. There isn't a single gun which is the same. Like all stats, all handling, grenades, inhalers, quick hacks, absolutely everything has been changed.
Wow, so basically all new loot pool for
Plus
our players.
a lot of new items that weren't in the game. Yeah.
Exactly. Obviously, let's clarify that that does not mean that all weapons will have new models, stuff like that.
No.
We're talking about gameplay
Gameplay.
perspective here. Yeah.
Okay, so while we are on the gameplay perspective, what about crafting and upgrading items? Because I know this is like a very hot topic within our community. Like, where did the crafting go? What's happening?
Sure. So crafting is still very much a thing. Actually, I would maybe even say it's more of a thing because it's not like tied to the tech tree. At least not
5
directly.
minutes.
Meaning
5 minutes until the
everybody
update drops.
Craft
Stream is good.
Or upgrade,
I'm gonna have to end mine
iconics
soon
or upgrade even
to
cyberware, which is the new
update
addition
my
we've
drivers.
added.
But after that, we're gonna be full
In
back.
tech tree, there'll be perks that will make the
That should take
upgrading
roughly
process maybe
6
simpler,
minutes.
easier because
If-
you'll
if
have
I'm
more
lucky, like
components,
roughly
you'll have
6
more
minutes.
choices when it comes to upgrading. So what do you want to upgrade into, for instance, the cyberware? But as a baseline, everybody can do the upgrading and crafting. And it's just a matter of how do you want to, be involved in this loop. The cool part is that you'll be finding some extremely powerful recipes in the loot. So this will also probably play a factor whether you'll be engaging in this and how you'll be engaging in this.
Exactly. We didn't want to introduce this bottlenecks into the system, so we wanted every possible playstyle to have an option to use this super powerful tool, which is crafting and upgrading. I know, Alicia, you asked me previously, why did you change this?
Yeah, because I went into full tech tree just to be able to craft legendaries. My legendary Overwatch I love it.
You'll be able to do it still. You'll get your points back, and if you choose to go back to tech, there's there are some big payoffs at level 20. So I think
Okay, I will check it out. Maybe Netrunner, maybe Techie. We'll see.
One thing to mention here is that components that you use in crafting and upgrading, they are not purchasable. You'll have to find them in loads. So guys, good luck in airdrops.
yeah. But this makes them so much more exciting and you're happy when you get
the
them.
red.
Also, the whole upgrading is streamlined so that you only need a single type of component to upgrade, which it's like a nice quality of life change for the people.
And we are talking about the upgrading. I think what's worth mentioning here that we replaced the old rarity levels with new ones, right? Can we maybe explain a bit more?
With tiers.
With tiers.
Yeah. So currently they're called tiers. Basically, every couple of levels, player will advance to a new tier. It doesn't happen it's not like a hard cutoff point where suddenly you are on the next tier. It's just the items from the next tier will become available, both from the loot, from enemies and chests, containers, etc., and also at vendors. With each new tier, new types of items are introduced. New weapons, new cyberware, quick hacks, and other
Update is
things.
out. I just checked.
So this is
I just
a big change,
checked.
definitely. We changed it primarily to allow players to play with their weapons for as long as they want. Previously, weapons were scaling with each level. Their damage was scaling with each level. And players were, when they saw a new gun that had this green arrow, up arrow on it, they were often, just switching it up. And we didn't like how it was controlling the way you play instead of giving you the freedom to role-play your character. So if you really care about using pistols, like me, I really didn't like this moment when suddenly having a shotgun dropped makes me change it because it's just more powerful. I didn't. This fear of missing out was just too powerful.
Exactly, and this is also a theme in a lot of changes that we are talking about today. We looked at our systems and we found all the places that instead of introducing choice, we are deciding and respecting this choice and having an actual decision making left for the player. We felt like we are making this decision for them. So here, obviously, this is something that we really wanted to put emphasis on. But with those loot changes, with tier changes, that does not mean that weapons have, like the leveling up does not mean anything for the weapon system, because with higher levels, better weapons will be dropped from loot. So this is also something that will play along. Plus with loot, vendors will change their stock, for example. So it's worth revisiting different vendors in the Night City. We also
from time to time you'll see like the next tier loot in there, and if it like matches your playstyle, it's definitely something worth consider to get.
Yeah, you're ahead of a curve sometimes.
Yeah, I think that the biggest change is that player has this time, where he can really appreciate the weapon he's having, like have fun with it. Check it out and not worry that there is this next gun that will take this away from me. And it really
this is nice.
completely changed the dynamic
I like this.
of how you're building your character and how much you can role play it. So this was, I think, the biggest one.
Awesome. And with upgrading, the gun can grow together with the player.
Yes, however, we are no longer upgrading guns themselves. You can upgrade iconics, but not the guns.
Okay.
Iconic weapons.
Iconic weapons, yeah, of course. Cyberware as well.
Yes.
Okay, so I know we have some changes when it comes to the stamina. So what can you tell us about that?
So first and foremost, with stamina, the biggest the thing we wanted to achieve here is give player ability to move around the Night City freely without being annoyed that the stamina is running out when you.
Yeah, no, Johnny's gun did just get a shit ton better.
So those movement verbs no longer use stamina that is sprinting, jumping. Obviously, some of the movement verbs that are more combat related, like the crouch sprint we mentioned, or dashes, stuff like this, also will use stamina. But the general idea behind it is that the mobility of player is not being controlled by stamina resource. But stamina resource from now on will depend on the recoil of the weapon. So shooting the gun will drain the stamina resource.
One moment.
But a very important message we would like to put here is that it does not mean that we are introducing this recoil mechanic to the game. It does not mean that the weapon handling will be worse. It's the opposite. This recoil mechanic was already in the game. It was behind the curtain. We were controlling it fully, but again, as with a lot of changes that we did,
you could feel it somehow, through how the weapon behaves, how the reticle is shaping up, etc. But it was very obscured.
Exactly, it differed from weapon to weapon. But as with many changes that we are discussing today, we wanted to take away this decision from us and give it to the player. So stamina resource is a perfect way to do it. We decided that from now on, this behind the scenes system will be controllable by player, and by adding it to the stamina, by combining it with stamina resource, we were able to put a lot of decisions for the player. You are now able to modify how your stamina is behaving with perks, with the different abilities, cyberware, modifications on weapons, a lot of stuff.
And even like just watching your stamina as you should, and like comparing the behavior of the weapon, the aim that you can get, on high level of stamina versus no stamina, it's very different. And then different weapons use stamina also differently, which allowed us for the weapons to be much more, how to say, like farther apart, more unique, and have their own characteristic. They had the characteristic, don't get me wrong, previously. We're just doubling down on this.
Exactly, and maybe there's a lot to maybe affect this handling from the player perspective rather than accepting it.
Yeah. It's clear. You can like see it, and you can expect what happens, because by the way stamina works as you should, you see the difference. Like it's really noticeable, especially for certain weapons, which is also cool, because if this is not something for you, where you enjoy those very accurate weapons like sniper rifles or pistols, there are definitely weapons which are like softer on the stamina, and you know, it's like their theme.
Yeah, plus it plays along really well with what Philip was describing before, which is the tiers system.
Oh, yeah.
Because because of the tier system got reworked, you are able to stick with one weapon for a bit longer now. That means one of the things you will notice a lot is that you will be able to actually play around with this recall and stamina system, and maybe find a weapon that actually suits your how fun it is to shoot, how fun it is to play with it, rather than, you know, what's the damage on
and also like the distance, you know, that
stats is cyberware.
You know,
Clothing is clothing.
Is a big factor,
Stats is a part of your cyberware now.
And one important thing to add, probably we should have told about it earlier, is that weapon tooltips, where you will no longer see this big DPS number that was pretty much defining the weapon as it is.
Arrow up or down.
Yes,
Exactly.
but instead you'll see a set of like bars about like the damage of the weapon, like single damage of the weapon, rate of fire, handling, and some other stats.
Distance.
Distance.
I'm gonna end my shit. I'm gonna end my shit, and I'm gonna update my drivers. When my drivers are done updating, I will be back.
But then you should just try it out. And
I'll be back.